Everyone in the marketing department swore it was just harmless fun, but Kendra wasn't sure. Come on, her coworker Matt urged, leaning against the break room counter. You've been single for months. We've set up a double date at Indigo Lounge tonight. You'll love the guy. Kendra narrowed her eyes. Who is he? Matt's smirk gave him away. A friend. Totally charming. Just trust us. Against her better judgment, Kendra agreed. She loved her team, even when their humor strayed into the absurd. Still, a prickle of unease sat behind her ribs. The Indigo Lounge glowed with amber light and the low thrum of jazz. Kendra arrived first, choosing a table near the window. Minutes later Matt strolled in with his girlfriend Julia, and a tall man in a neatly pressed but plainly inexpensive shirt. This is Daniel, Julia said, eyes sparkling too brightly. Daniel extended his hand. Nice to meet you. His palm was calloused but his handshake confident. Kendra returned the greeting. Daniel's dark hair was neatly combed, though a streak of silver hinted at early gray. His smile revealed no nervousness. Yet Matt's barely contained grin set Kendra's instincts humming. Conversation began pleasantly. Music, books, travel. Daniel listened intently, asking questions that showed he remembered every detail she mentioned. But each time he spoke, Matt exchanged a quick glance with Julia, suppressing laughter. Finally, Julia, accidentally, let the secret slip. You know, she said, swirling her drink, Daniel keeps our office sparkling every night. Kendra blinked. Our office. He's the janitor, Matt added, voice dripping with fake innocence. Best mop in the city. Julia giggled. We thought it would be fun to mix things up. The words hit Kendra like a splash of cold water. So this was their double date, a setup meant to surprise her with someone they assumed she'd never choose. Daniel simply sipped his water, unruffled. That's an honest job, Kendra said evenly, refusing to give them the reaction they wanted. Hard work, too, Matt chuckled. Sure, just wanted you to know before things got too serious. The rest of dinner moved awkwardly. Kendra tried to steer the conversation back to neutral ground, but Matt kept dropping condescending jokes about cleaning up and messy situations. Daniel, however, remained gracious, responding with quiet humor and an occasional sharp wit that left Matt momentarily speechless. When the check arrived, Daniel insisted on covering his share. Fair is fair, he said with a polite nod. Outside, the autumn air carried the scent of rain. Daniel turned to Kendra. I'm sorry if this evening wasn't what you expected. You have nothing to apologize for, Kendra said. I'm the one who should be apologizing for them. He smiled. People reveal themselves in interesting ways. After a pause, he added, would you like to continue this conversation somewhere less performative? Surprised and intrigued, Kendra agreed. They walked to a nearby coffee shop that stayed open late. Over cappuccinos, Daniel spoke about his love for woodworking, the small furniture pieces he built in his garage, and the community center where he volunteered teaching kids basic carpentry. Kendra found herself leaning in, captivated. She shared her own passion for photography, and he listened as though every word mattered. Hours passed unnoticed until the barista politely announced closing time. 2 days later, Kendra arrived at work to find the office buzzing. Emergency all-hands meeting in the main conference room, someone whispered. Big announcement. When Kendra entered, Matt and Julia were already there, looking restless. The CEO, Margaret Sloan, stood at the head of the table, an unfamiliar man beside her. Good morning, team, Margaret began. I'm delighted to introduce our new Chief Operating Officer. He'll be instrumental in guiding our next phase of growth. She turned to the man. Everyone, please welcome Daniel Whitmore. Kendra's heart jolted. Standing in a tailored suit, composed and commanding, was the janitor from the blind date. Matt's jaw dropped. Julia's face drained of color. Daniel addressed the room with calm authority. Thank you, Margaret. I've admired this company for years and am excited to work with such talented people. His eyes swept the room and, for a brief moment, met Kendra's with a spark of recognition. Then he continued, voice even but carrying weight. Before we discuss strategy, I want to share something. Titles don't define worth. Character does. I've spent time in roles from entry-level maintenance to executive leadership. Every position taught me something valuable about respect and humility. I expect that same respect to flow through every level of this organization. The silence was absolute. Daniel allowed it to settle before concluding, let's build something great, together. As the meeting dispersed, whispers erupted. Matt and Julia lingered, clearly mortified. Kendra approached Daniel. COO, huh? She said softly. He chuckled. Surprise. I sometimes visit different facilities incognito to understand operations from the ground up. When your colleagues invited me to dinner, I thought it might be enlightening. You knew, I suspected, he admitted. Their amusement wasn't exactly subtle. But I wanted to meet you. Kendra smiled. I'm glad you did. Across the room, Matt and Julia pretended to be fascinated by a potted plant. Later that week, Daniel stopped by Kendra's desk. Coffee after work, he asked. Only if we can skip the disguises this time, she teased. Deal. As they walked out together, the office hummed with a different kind of buzz, one that had nothing to do with titles or pranks. Kendra thought of Matt's smug grin at the start of that ill-fated date and almost laughed. The joke, it seemed, had written its own punchline, and the lesson was impossible to miss. Respect isn't a game, and sometimes, the janitor holds the keys to the entire building. Word count. Approximately 1020.